Back in 2005, when the Liberals were in power in Ottawa, the government was told its detainee transfer agreement in Afghanistan was lacking. The advisement came from Eileen Olexiuk. She opened Canada's embassy in Kabul and was second in command. As the government was considering sending Canadian troops to Kandahar, Olexiuk was part of the team asked to provide advice. In an exclusive interview with the CBC, she says she warned that Canada's prisoner transfer agreement would not do enough to prevent torture. James Cudmore has the story from Ottawa.
I'm not an expert, but I probably spent more time there than many other Canadian government workers anyway.
Eileen Olexiuk sits at her dining room table and sips on a cup of coffee. She talks about Afghanistan and her 3 years as a Canadian diplomat there and the man she once met in Kabul who told her he'd been tortured.
Well, when the fellow tells you he doesn't have his ear because it was cut off, and he doesn't have an ear.
Olexiuk wrote 3 annual reports on human rights in Afghanistan, and each one of them she warned torture was a problem. Olexiuk says no one paid much attention. But when Paul Martin's Liberal government started to prepare to send a battle group to Kandahar, Olexiuk spoke up. The government was negotiating an agreement that would see Afghan detainees transferred by Canadian troops to Afghan jails. Olexiuk warned the agreement was insufficient. Canada's detainees would be at risk, and the agreement needed stricter conditions.
But at least we should set up some kind of a pattern of visits so that, and we should know the fellows that we've transferred over and ask to see those fellows or ask to see some record that they'd been released.
Olexiuk says that advice was dismissed. Her bosses told her Canada couldn't just go poking its nose into Afghan prisons.
I mean, we can sort of quasi-invade it, but we cannot walk into one of their prisons. I mean, give me a break.
Olexiuk is now retired. She notes with a wry irony that the government's upgraded transfer arrangement put in place after nasty allegations of torture provides Canada with exactly what she had recommended 4.5 years ago.